I was watching a video, a guy writing some software for an embedded device on, I'm not sure what it was on. The video is called What Unix Cost Us, and he looked into libUSB, which I looked into as well. It's a piece of bit-rotted interface API glue that's meant to abstract a layer to provide some kind of portable application interface to allow you to respond to USB device bus changes and not even changes, just be able to find the devices currently plugged in, and he goes through a list. He shows how to do it on Windows, how to do it on macOS, and I presume he's then going to go and say how to do it on Unix, and he's going to uncover this amazing hierarchical file system that the Linux device driver developers invented, which abstracts a whole lot of fields of records basically and presents them as files. It's incredible. And libUSB seems to be sitting on top of that. Presumably as some kind of exercise in demonstrating how not to do shit. I mean, it's hilarious. And I've just been trying to install OpenBSD in Linux, Ubuntu in particular, and looking at EFI and UEFI and MBR, the old boot record format, and GPT, GUID partition table, and this stuff, it turns out it's really hard to set up a system with Ubuntu and OpenBSD and have them cooperate in an obvious way. God knows how you do it. The lowest, what is it? It's the lowest common denominator is ext2 file systems, which date from 1994. Is that when they put out ext2, or is it even earlier than that? Anyway, non-journals file systems, because you'd kind of want some kind of common home directory structure, maybe. You would think that the two OSs, since they can only run one at a time on a machine that I'm installing it on, as far as I know, it's just an AMD 64 twin-core CPU. You'd think they'd be able to use the same swap partition, but I don't think they can, because BSD uses disk labels to map the sub-partitions. BSD really only sees its own disk label layout. It doesn't, apart from the install process, it doesn't see the other systems. OpenBSD install on its own didn't seem to be capable of rendering the system bootable. I don't think it wrote the master boot record. The Ubuntu installer, when I ran it afterwards, seems to have detected that you need at least one EFI partition, and so I've created that, and maybe I'll be able to boot either operating system, but I'm still having to split up this disk, and it's not looking big enough now. I'm now wishing I bought a 1 terabyte SSD and not a 500 gigabyte one. This is just so absurd. Absolutely ridiculous. But the system works. I'll have another disk. I have the old 1.5 terabyte spinning disk, but only via USB 2, so it's really slow. It's just a backup device, but there's still no software that can semi-offline storage automatically or anything like that, as far as I know. We don't want any of this. I tried in 2015. I tried to get Linus and CEO and all these people to get together and start thinking about the real way to do systems programming. But I got zero interest, zero response. And it looks like all they've been doing since then is maintaining their piles of code. And the GNU project has been doing its pile of code, and the ecosystem is... that's not an ecosystem. And my idea of using a Raspberry Pi 5 and metaprogramming machine code to perform functions, that's going to be so hard on Raspberry Pi 5, because you're going to have to negotiate the entire PCIe bus nightmare in order just to get at the SATA drive connectors. And honestly, I wonder if it wouldn't be better just to chuck all that away and use Pi Pico's driving SATA pins directly. You could certainly do it with FPGAs driving SATA pins directly. Just get rid of that PCI consortium is a purely economic phenomenon. It had no purpose other than to, don't know what they were. Did they think that they were creating something so valuable that the users would pay for it? But if that's what you pay for, I mean, you're entitled to do that, but you should have been paying for doing a proper job, not a second-rate undergraduate project hack.